In a significant geopolitical development, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy has raised alarm over reports suggesting that over 150 Chinese nationals are fighting for the Russian military in Ukraine. This revelation has sparked a swift and emphatic response from China, which has labeled the claims as irresponsible. The situation underscores the complexities of international alliances and the ongoing ramifications of the Russo-Ukrainian conflict. Zelenskyy's assertions made via social media indicate that these Chinese citizens are not isolated cases but part of a systemic recruitment effort by Russia. It is obvious that these are not isolated cases but systemic Russian work, particularly on the territory and in the jurisdiction of China, to recruit citizens of this state for war, he stated. The Ukrainian leader further claimed that his government has compiled lists of the identified individuals, including names, birthdates, and their assigned military units, suggesting a structured recruitment process facilitated through social media platforms. The Chinese Foreign Ministry reacted promptly, with spokesperson Lin Jian advising against making irresponsible remarks about China's involvement in the conflict. Lin emphasized the necessity for a balanced perspective regarding China's role in the ongoing war, asserting that the country has consistently urged its citizens to avoid participating in armed conflicts. Ukraine should correctly view China's efforts and constructive role in seeking a political solution to the Ukrainian crisis, he added, thereby dismissing Zelenskyy's allegations as baseless. This exchange highlights the increasing tensions not only between Ukraine and Russia but also the broader implications involving China, which has positioned itself as a strategic partner to Russia while ostensibly seeking to maintain a neutral stance in the conflict. Zelenskyy's claims come amid ongoing discussions regarding the future of U.S. support for Ukraine, with the president expressing frustration over perceived inaction from the United States. "I do not understand why America is not reacting forcefully towards Russia," he stated, underscoring a plea for more robust international support. The situation is further complicated by the backdrop of U.S.-Russia relations, where a recent prisoner swap between the two nations has led to speculation about a potential thaw in diplomatic ties under President Donald Trump. This exchange, involving U.S.-Russian dual national Ksenia Karelina and German-Russian Arthur Petrov, reflects a nuanced dance of geopolitical interests as both nations navigate the complexities of their relationship in light of the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. In the military sphere, Russian forces continue to conduct offensive operations, with reports indicating recent advances in the Sumy border area. Ukrainian military officials have noted an uptick in Russian assaults as the Kremlin seeks to establish buffer zones along its borders, a strategy likely aimed at consolidating territorial claims amid ongoing peace talks. As international observers monitor these developments, the implications of China's involvement, whether direct or indirect, will remain a focal point in the evolving landscape of the Ukraine conflict. The potential for greater Chinese engagement, whether through military support or other means, could significantly alter the dynamics of the war and the responses from Western nations. In conclusion, as the situation unfolds, the interplay of military actions, international diplomacy, and the involvement of nations such as China will be critical in shaping the future trajectory of the conflict. With Zelenskyy appealing for decisive U.S. action and China asserting its stance, the coming weeks may prove pivotal in determining the course of not only the war in Ukraine but also the geopolitical landscape at large. On April 9, 2025, the Institute for the Study of War (ISW) released its latest assessment of the ongoing Russian offensive campaign in Ukraine, shedding light on the shifting dynamics of the conflict. As the war enters its third year, recent developments indicate a renewed push by Russian forces, particularly in the Sumy and Kharkiv regions, amidst ongoing debates about international military support for Ukraine. Russian military operations have seen marginal advancements in the Sumy border area, although the ISW suggests that a major offensive against Sumy city remains unlikely without significant reinforcements. Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief General Alexander Syrsky reported intensified Russian assaults across all main directions, particularly in the Sumy and Kharkiv oblasts. This uptick in aggression is potentially linked to a temporary pause in U.S. intelligence sharing with Ukraine, which occurred earlier this year, allowing Russian forces to capitalize on the situation with advances in Kursk Oblast. Military observers noted that key Russian divisions, including elements from the 76th Airborne Division, have made tactical gains around Basivka and are attempting to disrupt supply routes along the H-07 highway. Ukrainian forces are reportedly engaging in defensive maneuvers leveraging long-range HIMARS strike capabilities to counteract Russian positioning. According to Konstantin Mashevets, Ukrainian military analyst, approximately 62,000 to 65,000 Russian troops are currently stationed in Kursk Oblast, a force that may sustain losses but could still pose a persistent threat to Ukrainian positions. The strategic objective of Russian military operations appears to be the establishment of a buffer zone along the Ukrainian-Russian border, particularly in northern Sumy Oblast. This tactic aligns with previous statements from Russian President Vladimir Putin, who has expressed intentions to create a security perimeter to justify territorial claims in future peace negotiations. As Russian forces push into Ukrainian territory, the situation raises concerns about potential escalations and the humanitarian implications for civilians trapped in conflict zones. In a notable twist, the involvement of North Korean troops in the Russian campaign has been confirmed, although their operational effectiveness remains uncertain. General Syrsky indicated that North Korean forces are enhancing their combat readiness, adapting to Russian military standards after suffering significant losses. This development could have broader implications, as it signifies a deepening military alliance between Russia and North Korea amidst growing international tensions. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian military is continuously innovating and adapting to the evolving battlefield. General Syrsky outlined advancements in Ukraine's drone capabilities, particularly long-range strike drones capable of reaching targets over 1,700 kilometers away. This technological edge not only serves defensive purposes but also inflicts economic strain on Russian military logistics, as evidenced by Ukraine's successful strikes on high-value targets like the Tu-22M3 long-range bomber. As the situation unfolds, international dynamics are also shifting. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy announced a willingness to allocate between $30 billion to $50 billion for U.S. defense systems, emphasizing the need for sustained military support to counter Russian aggression. This appeal comes at a time when the European Union is ramping up its ammunition supplies to Ukraine, with plans to deliver 2 million artillery shells by the end of the year. In a concerning development, reports surfaced of Chinese nationals allegedly fighting alongside Russian forces in Ukraine, prompting denials from the Chinese government. European Union officials have labeled China as a primary financial backer of Russia's military endeavors, further complicating the geopolitical landscape. As the conflict continues, both sides are preparing for the next phases of warfare, with Russian forces reportedly increasing their personnel and capabilities. The humanitarian cost of the war remains steep, with casualties mounting amid ongoing aerial bombardments and ground assaults. Looking ahead, the potential for renewed offensives, the integration of new military technologies, and the influence of international actors will undoubtedly shape the course of the conflict. The next few months will be critical as both Ukrainian and Russian forces navigate an increasingly complex and volatile battlefield. The international community remains watchful as diplomatic efforts to diffuse tensions and reach a sustainable resolution continue amidst the backdrop of an evolving war. In a significant development regarding international justice, it has been confirmed that Russian President Vladimir Putin will not face trial for war crimes in absentia, a decision that underscores the complexities of global diplomacy amid ongoing conflicts. This revelation, reported by Euronews, highlights the limitations of international law in holding powerful leaders accountable, especially in cases involving sovereign nations. The announcement comes as the world continues to grapple with the ramifications of Russia's actions in Ukraine, which have instigated a broader debate about justice, accountability, and the effectiveness of existing legal frameworks. The international community, particularly the West, has accused Putin of orchestrating war crimes as a result of the Russian invasion of Ukraine, which began in 2022. Despite the overwhelming evidence and calls for accountability, the decision not to pursue a trial in absentia reflects the geopolitical realities that often hinder the application of international law. As noted by analysts, the absence of a legal mechanism to prosecute leaders like Putin in their absence reveals the inherent weaknesses in the international legal system. At the same time, the conflict has catalyzed a significant shift in military strategy and technology usage, particularly concerning satellite communications. The war has underscored the critical role of technology in modern warfare, with Russian forces developing advanced electronic warfare systems aimed at neutralizing key assets used by Ukraine and its allies, such as SpaceX's Starlink satellite network. Brandon J. Weichert, a national security expert, emphasizes that the Kremlin will stop at nothing to achieve victory, even if it means risking a wider war with the United States by attacking their key space assets. Russia's deployment of electronic warfare technologies such as the Kalinka and Tobol systems illustrates the evolving nature of warfare. The Kalinka system, capable of targeting individual satellite terminals, poses a direct challenge to military communications on the battlefield, potentially undermining the operational capabilities of Ukraine's armed forces. This tactical innovation signifies a shift in how conflicts are fought, where control over information and communication can dictate the outcome of engagements. Moreover, as Weichert points out, the implications of Russia's advancements extend beyond the immediate conflict in Ukraine. The development of counterspace capabilities signals a broader strategic environment where nations are increasingly investing in technologies that can disrupt adversarial communications and navigation systems. The potential for these technologies to escalate tensions between nuclear powers raises profound questions about future warfare and global stability. As the geopolitical landscape continues to evolve, the decision regarding Putin's accountability and the advancements in military technology will undoubtedly shape international relations for years to come. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine is a stark reminder of the challenges posed by authoritarian regimes and the complexities of enforcing international law. Moving forward, the world will be watching closely as nations navigate these treacherous waters, seeking to balance the imperatives of justice, security, and diplomacy in an increasingly divided global arena. In a surprising move that blends pop culture with philanthropy, Bleacher Creatures has announced the addition of Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy to its lineup of plush collectibles. The 10-inch figure, which captures the essence of Zelenskyy's resilience and leadership, aims to support Ukrainian aid charities, with all profits from sales directed towards organizations such as Blue Check Ukraine Razum and the Ukraine Children's Action Project. This initiative not only highlights the ongoing plight of Ukraine amidst its conflict with Russia, but also showcases how figures from the political sphere can cross over into commercial realms for a greater cause. Zelenskyy, who gained fame as a comedic actor and was elected president in 2019, has become a symbol of Ukraine's resistance against Russian aggression since the onset of full-scale war in 2022. His leadership during this tumultuous period earned him a place in the global spotlight, culminating in accolades such as Times Person of the Year and the Sir Winston Churchill Leadership Award. The plush figure, available for $22.99 through Bleacher Creatures, serves as a tangible reminder of the struggles faced by Ukrainians and the support they receive from around the world. The collaboration with Bleacher Creatures also extends to prominent figures in the fundraising space, including Robert Rose, host of the show Raw Travel, who will assist in promoting the plush through social media and other channels. This partnership reinforces the notion that community engagement can take many forms, especially in times of crisis. The plush figure stands as more than just a collectible; it symbolizes hope and the collective effort to aid those affected by the war. On another front, Zelenskyy has made headlines with his recent comments regarding the involvement of Chinese nationals in the ongoing conflict. He stated that Ukraine has identified over 150 Chinese citizens fighting alongside Russian forces, a claim that has sparked controversy and prompted a strong response from Beijing. Chinese officials dismissed Zelenskyy's assertions as unfounded, emphasizing their position of neutrality and urging their citizens to avoid conflict zones. Zelensky's remarks reflect a growing concern about international dynamics in the conflict. As he seeks support for advanced military systems like the Patriot missile systems to bolster Ukraine's defenses against Russian attacks. The geopolitical implications of Zelensky's statements are significant, especially as Ukraine prepares for a critical summit in Germany focused on military support. Ukrainian officials continue to call for increased aid and military assistance from Western allies, underscoring the urgency of their situation. The revelation of foreign fighters, including Chinese nationals, suggests a complexity in the conflict that extends beyond the immediate battlefield, implicating larger international relationships and strategies. As the war continues to unfold, the dual narratives of Zelensky's plush figure and the involvement of foreign fighters highlight the multifaceted nature of this global crisis. With the plush collectible aiming to raise funds for humanitarian efforts and Zelensky's statements emphasizing the need for military support, it becomes clear that the struggle for Ukraine is not just a national issue but a global concern that resonates with many around the world. Looking ahead, the combination of cultural initiatives like the Bleacher Creatures plush and the heightened diplomatic tensions will undoubtedly shape the discourse surrounding Ukraine. As the conflict persists, the world watches closely, awaiting developments that could redefine the balance of power not only in Eastern Europe but on the global stage.